Finally, one of the biggest mysteries in the Walking Dead universe returned in the third season of Daryl Dixon, and the way this mystery comes back brings a much clearer explanation. Practically the explanation of what that is. If we connect with the other opportunities that we had to see this point, we can have many revelations. I'm talking about the PPP. How many times the PPP appeared on the Walking Dead? What is the meaning of PPP? How are the differences between the apparitions there? What is this for? Well, I will tell you that it must be very important, and in this video I will explain everything about this apparition, and if you wanna know, stay here and let's go. Hello everyone who watching this beautiful channel, my name is João Victor and I'm back to talk about, obviously, this universe of The Walking Dead. More focused on The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, the spin-off, because it was there in the third season of this show that we had a new appearance of an element that is very curious about this universe. The famous PPP card, but this time it wasn't the card. Yeah, just like another opportunity that we had to see it. I will explain about it for those who didn't notice, what the meaning should be and the connection with the others, but first don't forget to check the like button in this video. It helps me a lot with the promotion, and also if you like this content about the Walking Dead universe, don't forget to subscribe in this channel. Yeah, let's go. Here's the point. In the third episode of the third season of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, we see more about the development of the story in Spain there. We see many details about the main point of this story, which is Daryl trying to save Justina with Roberto, yeah, which is another character, another survivor who is in love with Justina. So Daryl with this guy Roberto are taking a trip along the coast of Spain, and it's precisely in this path of the two that we have one of the best references in this episode. At this moment, when Daryl is looking for a way to fix his boat, he's traveling there in the little jeep next to Roberto. When they're on the coast, he passes next to a statue, and he asks Roberto what that is, because it is full of memories in the statue. And then Roberto says people leaving things for the loved ones. Basically, where they are is the Camino de Santiago, which is a famous road which exists even in real life, especially about the religion, but many people do it just for cultural reasons too. And this is just one of the statues that there is on the path, and that even in this world of The Walking Dead, after many years of the outbreak, people leave things there, memories of dear aunts, pray for people they love, and other things to generate good energy and everything else. So everything is fine here, they just go through this, Daryl clears his doubts, and they go to trying to fix the boat. But what happens? A little later, when they are returning by the same way, Daryl decides to stop there, in the statue itself, so he can pay tribute to Laurent, the little boy from France who was sent by plane to United States and who he hopes is well. Precisely, Daryl has an old Rubik's Cube of the boy Laurent and decides to leave it in the statue there, as if he were praying for him, even though Daryl doesn't have so much faith. And that's where it is. In this scene, when he's about to leave, we have it there. A focus on the memories that were left in that place, different types of memories. We can see candles, shells, personal belongings, but there you have this, which many have noticed it. Basically, it's a backpack or some kind of a bag that even says PPP on it. Exactly. You can see these letters writing there, which is some letters that had appeared in the universe of The Walking Dead at least 3 other times. And so, if I tell you it's been almost 10 years since the first time these letters appeared on The Walking Dead, which is one of the biggest mysteries in The Walking Dead to date, which is completely obvious that there will be some production focusing on it. I don't know if it's when the characters get together, this one is going to be one of the problems, one of the points, or if there is going to be some separate production, a separate spin-off on this PPP issue. But let's get to the meaning. To explain this, we have to remember the other times we see this PPP, because we have some differences. Yeah, the first time this PPP appeared on The Walking Dead was in 2016, at the end of 2016, when they released the first half of the 7th season. There, specifically on the episode 6, which is that episode that Tara meets there oceanside, the group of women and everything on the coast, when they start to enter in the story. Precisely in this episode, we have another character with her, who is Heath, that mysterious guy from Alexandria who will help her too. But when she separates from him, when she comes back to be able to find him, Heath is no longer there. The RV that Heath was in is no longer there. We can see the marks of the RV, and she finds this card, a white card with the letters there, PPP, that you can see that it's not something printed. It's like pen writing. And here was the first moment that this mystery started to go into The Walking Dead. At the time of the season 7, the helicopters started to appear more, and at this time we still didn't know that this helicopter group is called the CRM. Only after it we heard about this revelation, so people thought at this time that this PPP had to do with this group of the helicopter, and it was even the name of the group that the production thought they were going to put it, then they changed their minds, but that's not it. PPP is not CRM, but it has to do with CRM. The proof of this is that Heath, RV, the one that he disappears in it, appears later there in JD's dump, close to the end of the season 7. And then around the time of season 9, when the season 9 was on, Angela Kang, the showrunner of The Walking Dead, showed up to confirm that JD's sent Heath to the CRM via helicopter, just like she did normally when she had this group. She took people and sent to survivors there A's and B's in exchange for supplies. This is Heath's only confirmed destination in The Walking Dead. He was sent by helicopter, but then there was a lot of idea that he could appear in Rick's series. He didn't. It was a mystery to this day. He never returned. But okay, remembering that this was the first appearance of the PPP, after that, which happened in 2016, we went several years without any news about this point, without any clue about it. The crowd even thought they had forgotten about this idea of the PPP, but no, in 2022 we had the premiere of Tales of the Walking Dead, the anthology series of The Walking Dead, each episode about the story of a character, and there in episode 5 we have the story of this character here, played by Jesse T. Usher, the guy from The Boys. And his character here in this episode is called Devon. This episode takes place around 16 to 17 years after the beginning of the outbreak, and it happens in the north of the state of Maine, in the region of Madawaska, where most of the people in the community there speak French, and he has to prove that he didn't cause a murder there, and all the things. But the big point is that first he reveals that he is going to Montreal in Canada to be able to meet his family again. He reveals some photos about his family, but in addition to these photos we also see a card. In the middle of his belongings he also has a card just like Heath, the same card, the same little white card with the PPP writing there in the same way, indicating that they have some connection. And it's worth remembering the following: the moment when we see the PPP card for the first time, the moment when Heath disappears, this moment happens around 1 year and 8 months after the beginning of the outbreak. Yeah, just this. At this point in the season 7 of The Walking Dead, there were not even 2 years of apocalypse, and this is confirmed. There's no many time jumps at this point, so it was very early on. And also, going to the moment when the card with Devon appears in Tales of The Walking Dead in this episode, we are close to 17 years of apocalypse. But as I said, in addition to this new appearance in Daryl's spin-off, there's another one. I said only 2. What was the third one? The third was the most recent. It was in 2024, and it was the first time that something related to PPP appeared without a relation with a card. It was in this case in Rick's spin-off, The Ones Who Live, in the last episode, episode 6. Yeah, there we have a focus on CRM Special Operations Base in the state of Oregon, very close to Portland, precisely because they are on a mission to be able to bomb Portland, destroy the entire city there, which had approximately 100,000 people living there, to be able to take all their supplies and gather them for them. But before destroying, they had a contingency plan, which was revealed. In this case, it is revealed by Major General Bill himself that they had infiltrators in the communities around the world, in all communities, and about Portland, in this case, they had infiltrators there too. And before bombing the city, we can see in the meeting there on the slides, they were going to extract the infiltrated people, their agents there, along with children, exactly, who were going to be educated and evolved by the CRM to become their soldiers. But where is the PPP in all this? In this case, in one of the scenes near the end of the episode, at this base where all this meeting and this preparation of the CRM is happening, we see Thorne, who is investigating what Rick is up to there. She goes to one of the CRM command rooms, and in the image we can see in the middle of the writings on the board, PPP exception. Yeah, at this moment the whole focus was to destroy Portland. It was to get everything there, the supplies, and get the children out there. But there was a PPP exception that they had to consider in the middle of this plan. And then it was the first time that it was possible to consider possibilities of what this PPP is. The first of them is that the PPP means internal code for the special agents disguised as the CRM who infiltrate these communities, since in the same episode of The Ones Who Live, we see that they are going to extract these agents along with the children that they are picking up there to save them, to be able to add them to the CRM CRM. It may be that the PPP exception are these agents, so they can't bomb everything, they have to protect them along with the children, that may be it. And what was the second possibility that people created about this PPP exception at this time? The second is that it's some scientists who are looking for a cure, who are evolving all this, or who can even be part of one of those teams that we saw in the post-credits of World Beyond. The Violet team or the Primrose team. Remembering that in the post-credits of World Beyond, it is mentioned that the Primrose team was in the United States when the apocalypse began, and it is also revealed that if they returned to Europe, they could save all of it. And also remembering that in World Beyond, we see that CRM maintains some of the scientists. One of them is even Dr. Ellis, one of the main ones who worked early on trying to cure the zombie virus. The CRM keeps them there working on a project for a cure in their secret facility, and it is possible that the CRM has more of these scientists, or has identified people who are part of this PPP, which may be a group of scientists, and whom they consider as an exception. Yeah, this was the second possibility. But now comes this appearance of the PPP in Daryl's spinoff, now in the third season, which we are in a very similar time in the apocalypse that we are in The Ones Who Live. Like in the Rick's spinoff, that moment we are close to 12 years after the beginning of the outbreak, and here in Daryl Dixon we are close to 13 years after the beginning of the outbreak. And we are in Spain, where a backpack of the people who were part of this PPP appears. Clearly it's like a backpack or a bag, some kind of it, something tactical that all the people who are members of this group use. You can see the type, it's blue, kind of yellow, like the presence of this here in Spain indicates to us what? That the first possibility that I mentioned is the most likely, at least in my opinion right now. I was a big believer in this point of the scientists. It could be some scientists from the CRM as well, but the first possibility of the CRM infiltrators, which Major General Bill talks about in communities all over the world, makes more sense. Because in the same episode that he talks about it, there's the issue of them taking the infiltrators out of Portland before bombing, and he says about the infiltrators in the world, and now for the first time we see PPP outside United States. We see that these people have passed through Spain. So it makes total sense that it is really the secret CRM squad that is infiltrated in communities to bring information to them. That despite the malicious leadership of the CRM having been destroyed, this squad continued to infiltrate. Then you might think, oh, so you're telling me that both Heath from The Walking Dead and Devon from Tales, they were in fact infiltrators of the CRM? Look, we have many doubts about Heath because he seemed to be someone good who was there in Alexandria, but we already had some infiltrators in Alexandria, which was bad, and that the guys only realized later. I'm talking about Dante, back in the season 10 of the main show, one of the Whispers. And Heath's origin, how he arrived in Alexandria, is completely mysterious, so it could be like when he was waiting for Tara, he saw the card, someone talked to him by radio or something like that, said you have to go, so he applied for Jadis to send him, she didn't send him by force, and he went. Or in the middle of the way, when he was waiting for Tara, someone appeared with this proposal for him to join the CRM infiltrators, handed him the card, and he was taken. He was taken by force or something like that, and he dropped the card. And the same theories goes for Devon. We saw him even less. He is very mysterious. He hit his head there. It was a little bad memory, but who knows what is true about this guy. He was even going to Canada to meet his family, and he never continued. And I have to say, now adding up to all that, we have this appearance in Daryl Dixon. We have this PPP bag in the region of the Camino of Santiago. It seems to mean the greater probability that it is some CRM infiltrators there in Spain. That for me is the best explanation now. And you can ask, oh, they will explain about this later. And I have to say, yeah, there's a confirmation about this. In case you don't know, in 2024, when PPP exception appeared on The Ones Who Live, Scott Gimple, the content director of the Walking Dead universe, gave an interview confirming that this PPP issue is a mythology as well, as similar to the CRM mythology. So after that, a pattern of one PPP appearance per year began to be maintained. If it shows up next year in that city or in the 4th season of Daryl Dixon, you will know. Go around in the comments what you think, if you agree with this issue of the infiltrators. For me, there is no other more likely way. This is the one, because everything connects. So be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any news about the Walking Dead universe. Don't forget to check the like button in this video, it helps me a lot in the promotion. Thank you for watching this video, I'll be back soon, and bye!